Hey guys, now since that Bioshock Infinite comes out next month, I thought that I would review the first two Bioshock games leading up to its release, starting with the masterpiece, Bioshock 1.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture.
Okay, so Bioshock 1 takes place in 1960, where we play as Jack, a civilian who is involved in a mysterious plane crash, and we have no idea how the hell it happened, just knowing that the plane just crashed. Jack swims onto this building, finding himself going into a bathysphere. We see an advertisement played by Andrew Ryan, who is pretty much the boss of what's going on here. And it shows that Andrew Ryan rejected all philosophies, all ideas, all religions of all the people, and instead chose to build what he is calling mankind's greatest creation, the underwater utopia of Rapture. Rapture shows itself as this ginormous city under the water. Rapture looks like the greatest creation, although once we get there, it's not all that's cracked up to be. Alright, now the story in Bioshock is truly what makes this game work so well, all among other things. Now, as Jack goes through Rapture, his first little things, he discovers a genetic rewriting code drug known as Adam, which gives you superhuman powers, or also known as in the game as Plasmids. As Jack upgrades his abilities, we realize that Adam was the main thing that caused Rapture to go from a happy place to a complete and total war zone. Adam, you can basically compare to like a drug. You feel amazing when you take it, but you require even more as you take it. The result, you become one of these guys, a splicer, the main enemies of the game. And they're pretty much the drug addicts of the game. They're the reason why Rapture is pretty much so f***ed up. Jack not only discovers more about Rapture, but also more about his mysterious past, along with Andrew Ryan and Atlas itself. You meet characters like Dr. Tenenbaum, yes, Atlas. You learn more about Andrew Ryan. Through audio logs that you collect throughout the game, you hear more about Rapture's history. Other than the storyline, the gameplay of Bioshock is what really also just makes it work so well, and this is for a few reasons. One, the biggest thing is its morality-based storyline. Now, throughout the game, you encounter these little out-of-the-ordinary girl characters called Little Sisters who run around Rapture to gather the drug Adam. These Little Sisters are protected by their guardians, the Big Daddies, who are some tough sons of bitches. These Big Daddies are hard to beat, and they are pretty much the best mini bosses you can ever encounter in any video game. And once you beat the Big Daddy is where it really counts in. You get the choice to either rescue the little sister or harvest it. Both have huge impacts in the game. Harvesting, basically you just take up the little sister and you basically cover their face, killing them and taking all their animal in. Rescuing, on the other hand, it shows you nurturing the little sister and watching it turn back into a normal little girl. Gives you such an amazing feeling on the inside. While harvesting, on the other hand, makes you feel like an asshole. Going from the gunplay to the Plasmids, and the Plasmids have wide varieties, going from electroball, which is pretty much electrocuting someone, to incinerate, setting someone on fire, Winter Blast, freezing somebody. The DLC Sonic Boom is like a force push, and quite the powerful one. Telekinesis. All these require something that all FPS games are in need for these days. Strategy. Do we even see strategy in FPS games anymore? We hardly see that these days, and Bioshock is one of the true examples that uses gunplay and using superpowers also for strategy, and also using the environment to your advantage. Using telekinesis to pick up a chair and just fling at a splicer. You see gas, use incinerate. See water, use the electro bolt. And if you don't use strategy very often, especially on normal difficulty, you are going to die a lot because normal mode in this game is very, very challenging. The game has elements of a survival horror game, and it really shows because there are many, many parts of this game where you walk through just tight corners. When you get your shotgun for the first time, there's only a spotlight on you and you just hear splicers just coming with their crowbars and their pipe wrenches. You hear them just laughing. You see them just jumping at you. And plus, one of the scariest things in the game, I'm telling you right now, is hearing a little sister. Those kids still creep me out to this day. If you want the full Bioshock experience, play this on normal mode and not easy mode. Before I filmed this review, I beat Bioshock for the 8th time. I've never played a game so much. I have to say it's the game I have played the most in my entire life. Now, Bioshock's graphics still up to this day. Now, there are some parts where the textures are a little bit off because, you know, of new games like the new Call of Duty or like Borderlands or everything. But if you still look at it for a game that's being set in the 1960s, the game still holds up to this day, and the art direction in this game is fantastic in the game. Just exploring Rapture is really a true thrill. In a small sense, the game is kind of an open world game because you can go back and forth from the destinations. And of course, the score composed by, I think his name is Gary Scheinman. It's such a wonderfully done score. And the game's theme song, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, fits it perfectly, especially if you see the commercials of the game. The controls of the game also work very well. There's no stiffness to the controls. Everything feels tight. Everything feels just right in terms of control and difficulty of the game. Feels just right, especially if you play on normal mode, which actually gives you a challenge. So if you guys are wondering if I'm staying with my out of 5-star system with games, I'm actually going back to my out of 10 stars. Overall, Bioshock 1 altogether is a masterpiece, and it is one of the few masterpieces that gaming has today. From its wonderfully written storyline, expertly integrated morality system, along with these survival horror elements and puzzle elements, AAA voice acting, amazing gameplay, a wonderfully composed score, graphics that still up to this day, and an ending that if you either chose to harvest or rescue little sisters is a huge impact. I am going to give Bioshock a 10 out of 10 stars, and it is truly one of my favorite games of all time. So that was my review of Bioshock. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And in about a few weeks, I will have my review of Bioshock 2 up. And until then, I will see you guys next time.
Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.